Whoopee.
What the hell is a whoopee? What you keep saying that?
Like a blanket.
Yeah, in the army, they give you a blanket, and that is yours. They can never take it away from you. It's like your safe thing, your one constant.
Oh, okay.
It's your whoopee.
Think little kid's blankie.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I
For
get
my
that.
little
Yeah.
sister, Star Blankie.
Yeah, that's your whoopee. Your one constant in your entire world.
This is all you have. Love
yes.
it.
Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Welcome everybody to the Desynced podcast. Steve, you gonna get off your phone and do this or what?
I'm actually looking up stuff for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to get off my ass?
We'll see. My name is Fred. Joining me this week we got
Steve!
And Skyler, who is not on a phone.
who's not on a phone. So this podcast is actually going to be coming out the day before Bungie Day.
Woohoo!
So thought we'd celebrate.
Yeah.
Talk a little Bungie.
Bungie.
They've had. I actually didn't realize in doing some research for this podcast, they have quite an interesting history.
Yeah. It's a little weird.
It's very weird.
Do you want to start with what their first stuff was, or?
Yeah, I was going to start just at the beginning.
very
I mean,
beginning.
like their very first game. Do you know their very first game?
Was it Marathon, or was there one before that?
There's actually quite a few before that.
Was there really? Marathon's
Yeah.
the first one I remember.
Their first game, they technically weren't Bungie at the time, but it was made by the two people who would later go on to make Bungie, was a game called Gnop.
Gnop. That sounds familiar.
It's Pong spelled backwards. And it's just a Pong clone. But it was a free game that they just sent out. And there was like a handful of people who paid $15 for the source code.
Man, from Gnop to Halo,
And Destiny.
then down to
it's like-
Destiny.
Down to Destiny? I like how you said that.
They need to spring it back up.
We'll get into that when we get a little more modern.
What are you looking at me for?
Now that you jumped your head up, I thought you were like you had a revelation or something.
Oh, I always
Is
have
this-
those, but those are for me.
Is this the Fred and Skyler podcast, and sometimes Steve?
No, Steve's here, but Steve's always got revelations.
You've always got revelations.
So
Anyway,
Gnop.
Gnop, yeah, and right after that they don't even have figures on how many of that went out,
Well, it was free.
but they were founded soon after that in 1991 in
Yay!
May. I don't know why 7 has become Bungie's thing.
It's got to be an inside thing.
Do you
Maybe
know
I
the
think
story?
it has something to do with the seventh column.
Oh, I know. I didn't know if maybe the 7th column was also part of this inside joke or
It's got to be some major inside joke.
Lucky
within it.
number 7.
lucky no, maybe something weird. Yeah, they were founded in May of 1991.
Well, what's May? That's the 5th month. Plus, 1, that's 6. So 7, yeah.
Yeah. What? That's math.
He's delusional from lack of sleep. We can't.
Actually, I got tons of sleep because I slept through my alarm and didn't wake up until you called.
Yeah, and you were late.
Told you my phone call woke him up.
Oh, I knew it did. It had
I'll
to.
fully admit that I shouldn't have stayed up last night playing another Bungie game that we'll get to.
Yeah, so it was founded in May 1991 for the sole reason of publishing one game. Their biggest hit to date, Operation Desert Storm.
Whoop, whoop.
Really?
Sold a whopping 2,500 copies.
Still, though, I've actually seen that game. I never knew that was Bungie.
Yeah, that was... No, this isn't... Operation Desert Storm was also made for like PS2.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not their game.
Oh, is it not?
That's a completely separate thing. This was
okay.
made in 91, 92-ish, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I guess 91, because that's when they founded.
Probably for the early PC.
Actually, Mac. At this point, they did nothing on PC.
Really?
And I had not heard of this. I heard of the PS2 one.
Yeah, I've actually played the PS2 one. It was kind of fun.
So
Anything else?
next was Marathon. I mean, I don't know anything before Marathon. Is my only problem.
okay.
Then, after that,
we
in
did-
'92, they released another game called Minotaur.
Yeah, Minotaur was their first technical hit.
Mm-hmm.
It only sold about 2,500 copies, but it's what built a backbone of hardcore fans for Bungie. Was with Minotaur. It was a 2D dungeon crawler RPG-esque kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nothing special.
In many ways,
And that
to
was
make
their
PC
7th
RPG.
game, so 7?
No, that was their
5th?
3rd, technically. One big
yeah.
thing is it did
I do
require a network connection through Apple Talk or through the magic of a modem.
Magic modem.
Magic modems.
Is that what they were called back in the day?
That's what I still call them.
Then when
That
Ling
shit
Ling,
is sorcery.
we got Ling Ling after Minotaur.
That's not a game.
Was it not?
No, that's just an inside joke.
Dog's head in a jar.
Nope. I'll let you keep guessing though.
That's what it says on their website. Ling Ling, dog's head in a jar, has mystical significance.
Yeah, they're inside jokes. They've got those mixed into their little
Sure.
story. No, their next game was Pathways, which was essentially Minotaur just in 3D. It was their first time doing a 3D thing. And that was in 1993. It was my birth year.
That was mine as well.
91.
God, you're old. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you old shit.
I was born a month after they founded. What up?
Oh shit! I hit
Damn,
buttons.
I'm as old as Bungie.
Yeah, you're as old as Bungie.
Ah!
Think about that. Yeah.
Next time you play Halo and you see Old Man Master Chief, is that going to be like looking in the mirror?
Yeah.
So yeah, Pathways. Don't worry, Skyler. We're about to get into stuff that you actually know.
Okay, good. I feel like I'm just kind of sitting along for
Yeah,
the
what was
ride.
Pathways? Was like a 2D dungeon crawler?
That was 3D. It was Minotaur, almost exactly Minotaur, just in 3D, released in 1993. And it was their first game to start winning awards, and it established Bungie as part of the gaming scene in the Mac community.
It looks kind of cool.
It's kind of an interesting look to it.
Very Doom-esque.
And then we're here, Skyler.
Marathon!
We're at Marathon, the first Marathon.
Here's where I always thought that I was cool because I knew about it, even though I wasn't.
That was in 1994. They released Marathon. Actually, when was Doom? Doom was 93, wasn't it?
Doom.
Or was it early 94?
Doom came out before Marathon.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
right
it
around.
would have been before, but
It was right around there, though. I want to say Doom came out before I was born, so
Doom.
early 93?
Hang on.
you want to get on that, Steve?
I'll get on that one. You guys
Okay.
go on. I'll look this up.
Yeah, Marathon was 1994, and they did mention on their website it's like it was better than Doom in every way. I think that's just them bragging. But it was cool. It actually featured network gameplay, a full voice chat system, which was new at the time, and its own full storyline. Yes, what'd you find?
December 10, 93.
93?
December
Okay.
10
So
of
it was
1993.
after.
No, Doom came out before.
Doom came out before.
Marathon came out in 94.
Yeah.
No, what I mean is after my birth, after I was born.
Yes.
I always thought that it was like right before I was born.
Close enough. You're still too little to do anything.
Yeah. So Doom came out in 93. Because I knew Doom and Quake were the first two big first-person shooters that kind of inspired that whole...
They weren't the first
Quake
to
was,
do
actually
first-person
later.
shooting, but they were the first ones to actually like have a good system for moving about in the 3D world and firing.
Yeah, because they had 3D games where it was essentially a 2D plane. You would just move, like the screen
Right.
would move forward if you pressed forward, but it was like step by step. You couldn't freely move within the
Yeah.
space.
Right. I also said a good system, good for the time. I mean, you couldn't even look up and down.
You couldn't look up and down. You could in Marathon, or maybe that was 2.
It's probably Marathon 2.
I think it was 2.
That was a really big deal when that happened.
That's a huge deal. So yeah, Marathon 1 pushed Bungie into the big leagues. Like that was their commercial success, and at that point they were the go-to company for Mac games.
Right.
Still no PC at this point. Funny. Their first PC game was actually Marathon 2, Durandal, which I never played the original. I only played the remake on the Xbox Arcade. Y'all ever play it?
Nope.
I never played it, but I knew what it was.
I never played any
I used
of
to
the
be really
Marathons.
big into the Halo backstory, and I knew that Marathon was a big inspiration for a lot of that backstory.
Yeah, that's essentially why I bought it. So I was playing Halo 3, and I was like, oh, Marathon's mentioned. Let's go play that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's old, but it does look up and down. Yeah, that was 1995. I know we're running through the early stuff kind of quick, but
Well, let's be fair. No one knows what it is.
yeah, it's early stuff. We'll get to the fun stuff later. We can go in depth. But yeah, 1995 was Marathon 2. Added new game modes, like some of our favorites, like Tag, King of the Hill, those sort of game modes. And it was one of the first games to feature a cooperative story campaign.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Which they did good for many years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've done a great job of that until recent.
I mean, technically, it's still a cooperative story.
I guess it is, yeah. It's just not a split screen thing. Yeah. Oh, and this was the first game to be ported to PC. Did I say that? I think I said that.
You said it was their first PC.
It said it
game.
was the first game on PC.
Yeah, it was ported to the PC in 96. Also in 95, fun little side note I didn't know about was Marathon Infinity, which was a user-created content version of Marathon.
Really?
So, yeah, so it gave people the tools to build their own maps and stuff.
Oh, okay. So kind of like Hammer Editor before Source Engine.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of other things like that. Just none come to mind.
Yeah, that was the most obscure one I could think of.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh,
was
Hammer
thinking, like,
Editors for any like Valve game ever since back in Deathmatch. That's been the thing that they just gave away for free so everyone could make maps.
oh, okay, I didn't know that. I was actually thinking more like Forge, just to keep it in the Bungie family.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with. Oh, look, that was their first attempt at Forge.
Except that this was a full, like, you build your own levels and scenarios, you construct AIs and all that.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the
It's
AIs.
actually very similar to the Doom Snap map that they've got now in the new Doom. And then it moved on to Myth.
Never played it, never even heard of it.
It's a real-time strategy game. I don't care at all about it because it's real-time.
It's if memory serves me right, though, that is the reason why Mythic difficulty is the one above Legendary when you put the skull on.
Oh, yeah?
If memory serves me right, that's the whole reason why they have Mythic.
I didn't know.
It was supposed to be like a slight nod to that game.
It makes sense. It was one of their big
It was one of their bigger titles.
big successes. Myth and Myth 2. I don't know. I kind of lost interest when I was reading into that one. It was the first game to release on Mac and PC at the same time, so there's that. Also, that same year, 1996, Marty O'Donnell was hired.
Is that when Marty was hired on? Was 96?
Yep, his very first project was the first Myth. They were originally going to release it without any audio.
Really?
Yeah, without any narration or music. And Marty came in and said, here's why you shouldn't do that.
And look what he did. And he went on to do very, very marvelous.
Man, do you
wonderful
remember those
things.
old games that didn't have sound?
No, actually. Like, I can't.
There's a handful I can remember, but yeah, it's
As far back as I'm thinking, it's like,
Zork?
Zork technically.
I never played Zork.
It's a text-based game, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, even thinking back to, Pac-Man or something, they've at least got the...
there was
like
a
Space
there was
Invaders
a
has the-
span of those like real-time strategy games back in the late 90s that were just all it was the visual effects and a lot of text blocks.
Wow, that would suck. They're already kind of boring to play, but
Yeah.
with no audio? Ooh.
Oni.
Then Oni. Oni was their next big
Oni
game.
was fantastic. I loved the crap out of that game.
Came out in 2000, I think.
Something.
I didn't get a date.
I never
Hang
played
on.
it. I always
You
wanted
never
to.
played Oni?
I always wanted to. I just never.
I remember playing it, but I played it pretty far into the life cycle of PS2. I actually played it at the same time as Shinobi on the PS2, so I get them mixed up because they were very similar. What's up?
1999.
Well, I saw they were working on. It was announced in '99. I didn't
Was
know
it
if
announced
it
in
was.
99?
Yeah, I
In
didn't.
99 back in California, work was continuing on Oni, now announced as a multi-platform third-person action title for PC, Mac, and PS2.
And then they sold their soul to Microsoft.
Hang on.
Actually, not quite. They
Not
sold
quite yet.
19.9% of their soul to Take-Two.
Really?
Yeah, they helped with distribution for quite a while, including with Halo. They helped with distribution on that.
I don't remember Take-Two being anywhere on the names.
No, because they didn't publish any. They didn't publish or help develop, but
I guess
they
that's
would help
fair.
with distribution.
Okay.
Because at the time, Take-Two was really good at distribution. What's up?
January 28, 2001.
It came out in 2001.
January 26, 2001 in Europe. January 28, 2001 in North America. 27th in Japan. And in PS2, it came out on the 29th in North America and March 9th in Europe.
Wow, so it came out not long before Halo. Came out in the same year as Halo.
Because it was on the PS2.
Yeah, but PS2 came out in 99, 2000, something like that.
Well, I don't think Halo 1 had really any mention of Oni in it, did it? If it was just like a side nod.
March
it wasn't
4,
until
2000.
2 that they made it part of the main story.
Wait, what?
Oni in Halo?
Oh, I never even made that connection.
You never knew that the Office of Naval Intelligence was based off of Oni, their other game?
No, I didn't. I never made that connection. I'm not a smart man.
March 4, 2000.
March 4, 2000 was PS2?
PS2.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, all right. I do know that's kind of what laid the groundwork for games like Blood Rain, and even helped with Metal Gear Solid 2's development.
I'm still just flabbergasted that you never made the connection between Oni and Oni.
I never did.
I never did. Don't feel bad.
I saw Oni, I was like, oh, Oni. Yeah, obviously you're talking about the Halo thing. Never once considered you could be talking about their game, Oni.
I mean, that's why Oni is in Halo.
Yeah, I never considered that.
But there is also an actual military. There is a real life Oni.
I guess that's... Well, okay, that's true.
Yeah, the Navy actually has an Office of Naval Intelligence. So does the Army, Air Force. It's all...
That's really funny, though. It kind of makes sense, too. I mean, they've got a... Oni was a stealth action game.
Exactly.
Oni is a stealth action
or organization.
They're
organization.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's where my notes ended, because I didn't get to the rest of my notes in time.
Well, because after Oni...
After Oni was their big dog.
And I don't care what you guys say, Halo is what really and truly put them on the map and really made them explode into what they are now.
Oh, I agree.
It's what made them explode for sure. It's not what put them on the map though. Marathon put them on the map. You can't say no because you weren't around at the time. What?
You have my pink knife.
I mean, it's to be fair, it may have put them on the map. It may not have made them big. It's the difference between like Waxahachie. It's on the map, but it's not Dallas.
Yeah, that's a local joke.
It is. They're cities. It makes sense. Just trust me.
No, because I know with Marathon, that's what they became. Like they were listed as back when Macworld was a thing. They were like Macworld Developer of the Year, and like, that's what put them on the gaming map.
I just find it funny that
Marathon.
they started with Mac and then they went straight Microsoft for so long.
Yeah. Well, that's what's funny. Halo 1 was actually debuted in '99 at Macworld.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
seeing that. That trailer looked really cool, too.
And then...
That's why we can't have nice things.
I'm sorry.
I wonder if that's part of like why Microsoft went for them was to get them off of Mac.
Well, as we saw with Marathon, they started going PC.
Well, they started porting to PC, but they were a Mac developer. Because they even ported to PS2 with Oni. I think Microsoft was needing some killer app for their brand new video game console. No one knew if Microsoft...
Box.
Yeah.
Everybody is in agreement across the gaming world that without Halo, the Xbox would not have survived.
No, I mean Halo was integral to the
everybody
Xbox
across
launch.
the board, from all the bigwigs at EA, Blizzard, Activision. Everybody is all in agreement that the Xbox would not have survived without Halo.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to say it was Morrowind, it wasn't.
It definitely wasn't Morrowind.
I mean,
I think that...
No, I think Halo...
I don't think it would have had the success without Halo, for sure.
Well...
I think it would have survived, but it would have gone the way of some...
Dreamcast?
Well, more like Genesis.
Actually, I
where
could have
it
seen
had
that,
its
though,
run, but kind of died. Sorry, Skyler, what's up?
Before Halo, I mean, the original Xbox was mostly just like a sports game console. I remember when I first saw it, the only games I knew that were on it were Madden and NASCAR games.
Well, Halo was a launch title.
It was, but I mean, aside from that, what other like big non-sports titles did it have?
They had... Oh, now I'm going to have to look at this. Because it had quite a few that I remember. They just weren't big hits. Sorry, Mike. I got excited and I threw my hands up.
But I'm trying to think because I know Morrowind was a big game, but nowhere near as big as Halo.
And it wasn't launched. That was just like 2004.
No, that was a
wasn't
later
it?
title, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think because...
But Halo also completely changed the way games were played.
Oh, yeah.
The 8 versus 8, 16-man system link.
I mean, it was all...
Combat system was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Its multiplayer was state of the art for the time.
Did require a local link, but...
But it
did.
was still fantastic. I mean, you could still do four people on one console for multiplayer. You could do 16 if you linked 4 of them together. And I don't know about you guys, but I did that all the fucking time.
I actually didn't do it until Halo 2, but
Oh, Halo 2 just even made it even better.
I didn't have friends at that age, so.
well, to be fair, at that point I wasn't too big into that. I had Halo, but I didn't really have anybody to play with. It wasn't until like I was in my teens, like 15, 16, when I had groups of friends that would just go and set up LAN parties to play Halo 1, 2, and 3. But
Oh, well, 360 would have been out by that point.
oh yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah, I remember going to birthday parties and stuff. And
Oh my god, there were a lot of consoles. Where is Xbox?
Well, while you're looking that up, I mean, from there they did Halo 2, which was just better in every way.
That blew up. That was the start of the online multiplayer as well.
Oh, yeah.
The big online multiplayer games at that time were Burnout Revenge, Halo 2.
Oh, I still remember way back.
Burnout Revenge
little,
is amazing.
little baby Skyler, even though I guess not really baby, so little kid Skyler. I remember seeing like the original trailer for Halo 2, and it was, I want to say it was at an older E3. Was it?
The first trailer was at E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching G4 back when that was a thing.
Yeah, back when E3 was.
And seeing the moment when like he pulls out the second gun and he dual wields, and everybody lost their shit. And that was
I remember.
all I heard about for months was the fact that you could hold 2 guns.
That was the biggest worldwide launch in the video game history.
I believe
Halo
it.
2 is still the biggest
It's not still the biggest. Not by a long shot. No, it's not.
worldwide launch.
Worldwide launch, Call of Duty has beaten itself 10 times over. Like every iteration of Call of Duty, until the recent ones, have beaten previous Call of Duty scores, which had beaten Halo 3's score, which it's been a long... Halo 2 at the time, though, was an incredible launch. And back to the launch titles.
Mhm.
There was the incredible Cell Damage.
What?
the hell is that?
I don't know. I do know it has a
Was
remake.
that the actual just like how Microsoft effed up at launch and almost tanked themselves?
No, that was... I don't know, but I do know that there's a remaster on Xbox One available like here in the last week or so.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We need to find this game.
It's on there. Dead or Alive 3 was also a launch title. as well
Okay,
as-
so that would have been a decent one.
yeah, as well as Project Gotham Racing.
But that's a racing game. That's what I'm saying. Like the only
Yeah, that
titles
was
that I
racing.
knew were racing and sports games.
There were a lot of racing and sports games. Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
Yeah.
Okay.
that was a launch.
Okay.
Oddworld Munch's Odyssey,
I wouldn't say that was a big title.
that was
back
not a
then,
big
no.
title. That was,
Oddworld's growing, but it was nowhere near as popular back then.
and then you can't forget Fusion Frenzy.
I can forget Fusion Frenzy. I choose to forget Fusion
Did you
Frenzy.
play? The question is, did you play 1 or 2?
Jet Set Radio.
That was
2, I
Japan
think.
only.
Really?
Yeah. Jet Set Radio Future was a Japanese launch.
I remember it coming to the States, though.
It may have come later on, but it wasn't.
I want
launched
to
in
say
the
it was a
US.
360 port.
No, it was on original Xbox
Was it on
because it
original
came.
Xbox?
Project Gotham Racing and Jet Set Radio came as a 2-pack.
I thought it was an arcade title on 360.
Well, they did do.
They did port it over.
They had the original Jet Set Radio on 360.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you play Fusion Frenzy 1 or 2?
I think it would have been 2.
Yeah, 2 was one of the worst games ever made. Fusion Frenzy 1 was kind of fun. It was like a
Was
party
it?
game,
Oh, okay.
but it was pretty fun.
I'll take your word on it.
Yeah, you gotta. We're gonna make you play it.
I'd be up for it.
We're gonna play it. It's gonna be fun.
Someone also fact checked me on this.
Dude,
but
I would love
think
to pull out-
Halo 2 was also the first Xbox game to come as a standard edition and a collector's edition.
The first Xbox game to come with a collector's edition.
Yeah.
Well, I know it
I
had the
don't-
statue of him with the 2 SMGs was a collector's edition item,
No.
wasn't it?
This Halo 2 was just Steelbook.
Was it just Steelbook?
It was Steelbook.
What was that statue then that I've seen? Was that just something
I think you can
buy?
just buy the statue.
you could just
yeah.
buy the
Oh.
statue.
I don't know about the.
Like
the,
I said, fact
collector's edition thing.
Bungie, looking back, Bungie's done a lot of like innovative stuff in the gaming industry. That's
Halo
caught
was
on.
the first custom.
That was yeah,
the Halo console was the first custom console Xbox ever did.
yeah.
Yeah,
green
I do
one.
Because
remember
it was
that.
like the semi-transparent green.
Oh, it was a
Wasn't that
very
it?
transparent. It was like a faded sage green, but it was very transparent. You could see inside. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The controllers were fucking awesome.
Man, remember the Xbox controller, the original, the Duke?
The Duke. That was the only
that
way to
thing
play
is
Halo.
Huge.
No,
That
it
was
was
the only.
uncomfortable.
That was the only way to play Halo. The Duke was fantastic.
No, it wasn't.
I'll
I
say
loved
this.
it.
No, people like the Duke because it's funny to like the Duke.
It was
no
funny
one
to like the
actually
Duke.
likes.
I
the
will
Duke.
say this.
I genuinely liked the Duke.
Then you're goofy.
I genuinely like because the second generation controllers, they were just too small for my hands. Yes, the Duke was a little too big, but it was more comfortable. I could reach all the buttons easier.
That's insane. I have a musician's hand. My fingers are super long and lanky, and I couldn't reach some of the buttons.
I liked the Duke.
I hated the Duke.
I liked the Duke because I genuinely liked it. I enjoyed that.
I just
You are
controller.
a
like
one
my
of a
favorite part of
few
the Duke.
people.
I'm one of a few people. I'll take that. But yeah,
No, the Duke did have one thing that I want them to bring back: the little black and white button. I want those back. I like
why?
those.
we have
I
those.
just
They're
like
called
those.
left bumper and right bumper.
No, I want an actual like just on the side a little black and white button. I always love those buttons. Plus, it's really confusing to go back and try and play an Xbox game when they still refer to them as that.
Yeah, I know that threw me off playing Halo 1 on 360 because it would still refer to the black and white buttons. I'm like, I don't know.
It's one
I
of
have
the
no
reasons
clue.
I can't play Morrowind anymore. Aside from the terrible graphics, but yeah.
I was looking up something. What was I doing? Was I doing something?
You were doing something. I can't remember what. Steve,
I don't know.
You got putting me in charge is a mistake. We all agreed on that.
We did.
But Halo 2, I think. So Halo 2 helped really push Bungie off the ground. I
Oh,
think we can all
collector's
agree on
edition.
that.
Oh, the collector's edition. That's right.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, that was. Man, I didn't even have an Xbox at that time, and I remember how big of a deal it was.
Halo was the only reason I got an Xbox.
yeah, I got Halo.
It was Halo 2 and Morrowind were the reason I got mine.
See, mine was Halo and Fable.
Oh,
got-
Fable was another big title on Xbox. I forgot about
It
that.
was not a launch though.
It
It
wasn't
wasn't
launched,
launched,
but it was
but it
a
was a
huge
later
title.
one.
And then they fucked it up.
Oh, that's a 360 mistake.
No, that's a Lion's Head mistake. Thank God they're closed.
Whoa, hold on. No, it was a Peter Molyneux mistake. Lionhead just had to take the brunt of that.
To be fair, it was Peter Molyneux.
Fuck that guy.
That asshole.
We're not on here. We're not here to talk about him, though. We're here to talk about Bungie.
Yeah.
Celebrate Bungie and all its.
Yay,
Oh, it's-
Bungie.
Now, granted, they're not all fantastic and sparkles. Halo 3 was fantastic
And sparkles.
and sparkles.
Halo 3 was amazing.
Halo
just
3
the way
was
that they did that.
Fantastic.
Oh,
They're
man, do you remember-
online.
Oh wait.
Do you remember the old Believe commercial? Where it was all like the little action figures, and then at the very end, the head just turns?
Yeah,
That was such a good trailer.
that was really cool. Halo 3 had a great marketing campaign. Halo 2 did not. Do you remember the ARG for
Yes.
Halo 2?
Oh,
I love
was
bees.
that the bees?
I love bees.
Oh man,
That was horrible.
I think
I
my
apologize to everyone for that terrible voice crack. You
My
can't tell my voice is gone.
favorite Halo 3 trailer was the one that you got for pre-ordering Crackdown. It was that red versus blue skit.
Oh,
When they were on Valhalla.
I know
Oh,
which
yeah,
one
yeah,
you're
Bunkerport.
talking about.
Bunkerport.
Yeah.
That was my favorite Halo 3 trailer.
No, I think my favorite one would have to be the like in battle live action scenes that look like they were straight from a Halo movie.
Oh,
Yeah, oh, the Halo Landfall.
No, it didn't have
are you talking for 2 or 3?
for 3.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember 2 having very much live action.
Halo 3 had all of the Landfall trailers,
Right.
Where it showed them putting the warthogs together, all that live action stuff, the brutes chasing after them.
Yeah, I can't remember. Maybe they were called Landfall. I just don't remember.
That's what they were.
Well, because they
called.
were
But,
all. The idea was it all led up to the final scene of him like rocketing in from
Yeah.
space.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
It was
Halo
so cool.
Landfall.
I thought that was brilliantly
was-
done.
That was fantastic.
That was also around the time when the Halo movie started. Rumors of the Halo movie were
Yeah,
floating
that's
around,
where-
and
Kind of picking up and stuff.
Yeah.
Although I
and-
think my all-time favorite trailer was for ODST.
Oh yeah, ODST by far had the best.
That was just that kid standing there with
The-
the chanting, the music.
The Russian
the
music.
We Are
oh.
ODST.
Yeah,
Long
We Are
night.
video.
I don't remember the actual lyrics, but yeah.
Yeah, it was some. I
It
think
was
it's an African.
No,
chant
it
or
was
something.
No, it was Russian.
Oh, was it
like-
Russian?
it was like
Yeah.
a Hungarian, Russian, that Yugoslavian, that
Oh, okay.
Baltic area over there. It was one of those.
Oh, okay.
ODST has by far. We're gonna move. We'll go back to Halo 3 in a second. ODST.
Yeah, because I have stories to tell on Halo 3.
It's not necessarily a we're going on a little loop because ODST originally was just an expansion DLC
Right.
for Halo 3.
It was going to be Recon.
Yeah, and it evolved itself into a full-fledged game.
The opening of ODST is still hands down one of the best openings for a game I've ever seen. The prepare to drop, where it just starts and you actually fall through the atmosphere in the pod.
It's definitely the best opening to any Bungie game.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
That by far. It's like they did. This was the weird thing. ODST wasn't a beloved game like a lot of the other Halos. It was a pretty mixed crowd.
It was a cult classic
was.
But
for the diehards.
well, even a lot of the diehards didn't like it because of the changes they made. Because you weren't playing as a
Master Chief.
Spartan, so you didn't have the crazy high jump and the huge resistance. You were weak, and
That's what I loved about it, though.
that's
was
what I loved.
different.
I thought that was fantastic.
You could hide in the dark and they couldn't see you.
Yeah, it had a light dark mechanic. You had that the visor mode where you could see outlines of everything. Oh my god, that was
The game was refreshingly different from 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
yeah, and it
Because
was
you had just
open.
gotten super power. I mean, they had just super powered Master Chief beyond no end.
Yeah, you were a one-man wrecking crew, especially in 3. You were taking on
Yeah.
multiple Scarab tanks. Just, nothing.
And
We'll
the way
take
you
this
killed
on.
them in 3 was you punched them in the back.
Yeah.
Literally, you punched scarabs to death.
You
Yeah.
punch their bunghole.
So
No, ODST was...
it was revolutionary. It was different. It was a good change up for them.
It was
I
a
feel.
very well done game. I feel like it was the first 1-2 where they started experimenting with that like squad story, which they did very well.
Yeah, which they would bring on to their next Halo, but I don't want to get onto that one
Yeah,
yet.
we'll
Not
keep on
yet.
3 for a moment.
Go back to our stories of 3.
But yeah, well, yeah, we'll go on to that.
3
I
was
had something to say about
probably-
ODST, but I forgot.
3 was probably my first big like console multiplayer game. God, I loved that game.
I bought a 360 used. I had saved up all of my money, bought a 360 used, but it didn't save enough for the game, and I convinced my dad to buy the game for me.
There you go.
That
He
was
refused to help with the Xbox, but I convinced him to buy the game.
I remember there was something similar. I saved up a whole bunch of money for the console, and then like my parents helped me with that last little leg.
See, I played the long game too. As soon as I started seeing trailers and commercials for it on TV, I would say, "Oh, hey, this, I'm kind of looking at getting this at some point, And that was about a year later. I actually went and got a 360.
Nice. I remember it was right after my high school walkathon in ROTC. Me and 3 other buddies went over to my house. We had my big TV and then my TV from my bedroom, and we did system linked 360s so we could do the campaign 4-player co-op.
See, I had a friend. Actually, it was my brother's best friend, but he had a 360, and that was my only experience with the 360. And all he had was Oblivion and Project Gotham Racing.
Both great
I
games.
love Oblivion.
I played Oblivion. I was like, I don't like this. Played Project Gotham Racing. I thought, oh, this is really cool, but like that's not enough to sell me on the console until Halo 3 was announced. And I was like, oh my god, this has to happen. I was so excited.
Halo 3 was just phenomenal. I mean, the amount of
yeah.
LAN parties that we all did, and
It still stands as my favorite game ever.
that's
Well, I mean,
actu-
it's
I mean, it is my absolute favorite game. I know I like to claim Mirror's Edge as my favorite. It's my second. Halo 3 is my all-time favorite game just because of how much fun I've had with the multiplayer and the story and everything.
fact check me on this, but I'm 99% sure I'm correct. I believe Halo 3 actually inspired the Game Fuel Mountain Dew.
Well, they released the Game Fuel
The
as
game-
part of promotion with
Yeah, I remember-
Halo 3.
I remember because Game Fuel didn't exist until
I
Halo
actually-
3 came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it ended up selling so well that they kept it on
They
as
brought
a
it back
full-blown
as a
thing.
World of Warcraft Red and Blue. It was it
Yeah.
was the same flavor but different colors.
Oh, do you remember that
And now they-
trailer for the World of Warcraft one?
Brought it back.
Where it's the
No.
two moms in the grocery store and then they turn into like an elf and an orc and start beating the shit out of each other
Oh,
over
yeah. That was a terrible commercial.
it. It was funny. I just liked it because it was two moms. It was hilarious.
I loved that because I bought cases of it.
I've never been a fan of Mountain Dew,
little
so
bit
I
of
didn't
a
care.
little bit of a nerd moment. I actually still have a can of it that I got from a convention that I found. I'd have no clue where it came from.
Nice.
I'm never gonna open it because I'm sure that is cancer in a bottle right now.
It
but-
absolutely is.
Oh, it's probably lost all of the.
Oh, I'm sure, but I found
Carbon
like a
and-
sealed can of it.
I'd hold on to that.
That's odd.
That's great collectible right
Well,
there.
I think I got it back at like QuakeCon years ago because I remember they were doing a. I remember back when Halo 3 was about to come out, they did a tournament at QuakeCon, Mountain Dew hosted, where it was just you could if you won, you basically held the hill, and then whoever beat you took it. And whoever was the winner at the end of the day, who was still there playing, won like 10 years of that Mountain Dew stuff.
God, that would be horrible.
I just hit my mic.
Time out. That would be fantastic.
Mountain Dew tastes terrible to me.
That's
I
your
think
opinion.
it tastes terrible.
I love Mountain
I just
Dew.
remember that
In fact-
I hated it because I hated what happened there. I got paired with a random person, and the final score was 24-25. The other team beat us, but I had 23 of my team's kills.
Oh,
I was so furious. I remember as a little kid.
see, it was actually that promotion thing. They had Doritos and Mountain Dew did a bunch of Halo 3 promotion
Yeah,
stuff.
they did a shit ton.
Two of my least favorite snacky things to have.
Oh, I love Doritos.
I hate them both, and that only fueled my hatred for them. It's like I want good marketing for other things I like.
I think
Where are
Halo
my
3
Lays?
I think
Where are
Halo
my
3
fucking
is the
Pringles?
reason why
Ruffles
I-
have ridges.
No, but I think Halo 3 is the whole reason why I like Doritos. Because I remember as a kid I was picky. And I remember the moment when I looked at a bag of Doritos and said, that has Master Chief. I want that one. Marketing
I
works.
like how you're talking about this like you're 8.
I was probably like...
I was a
what I did.
sophomore in high school, which makes you guys
Yeah, I would have been.
8th grade.
Yeah, I would have been just about to get into
yeah.
high school at that point.
I was
So
a
middle school,
sophomore.
still when you're a stupid kid.
Okay,
So
I'll give
that
it.
would've made
I'll give
you
it.
13 or 14?
13 or 14,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's actually about right because I started my YouTube channel in 2007. My first post was 2008, and I was 14.
Wow.
Very first video. Can you guess it?
Gears of War 2.
Nope. I
Halo
had one
3,
video before Gears of War 2.
Really?
Halo 3 guide.
Halo 3 All Skulls Guide. My very first video. Halo 3 has a long running history with me.
My first video was Dead Rising, so I can't.
Yeah, you can't say anything.
Yeah,
And that
that
was
was
like
lame.
2011.
And mine was really shitty. So yeah.
Mine was Dishonored.
Hey, mine was shitty too, so. Your first,
Yeah, but
first
yours was
videos are
Halo.
always
It's a good
shitty.
game. It like raises up the video by a few notches.
I think I was using a Rock Band USB microphone at the time.
Really?
I think so, because I had Rock Band 2 shortly after Halo 3. And I think I was using the Rock Band 2 USB mic
To record your...
to do my voiceover. I would stack up napkins that were like folded up so that the mic would sit upward at an angle to face my mouth.
That's awesome.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
God, it's crazy to think of
Recording
the
used to be
equipment that I
so
have now.
hard. Yeah, recording used to be so hard.
I had a $20 Dazzle that couldn't do 480p. It advertised that it could do 480p, but I could never get it to do 480p. Yeah, it's component.
So Bungie.
ODST.
Sorry, I had to go down
The other-
memory lane there for
The other big-
That's the thing is it's. I mean,
The Bungie has been a humongous part of our lives.
Yeah,
over
I mean,
the
for our
last
generation-
almost 10 years.
for our generation, there are Zoids.
No,
There
Zoids
are-
are big mechanical animals.
I mean,
But you get what I mean. It's like the stupid generational thing that people latch onto.
I latched on the Zoids as a kid.
Yeah, I was about to say I did.
Like, I
too.
had all the collectibles. I had all
Did
the
you?
little figures. And
Maybe
yeah.
that's a bad example. Maybe I'm only remembering that because that was also my generation.
But I mean, Bungie, Pokemon. I mean, pick something from our childhood. People have
Yeah.
latched onto it. Bungie just happens to be ours. I mean,
Bungie was big for us. Yeah,
Bungie's been huge. They've given us so much, but like
I remember the arguments I used to have after 3 about whether or not Master Chief was dead.
and then with ODST, that's where I feel ODST is really kind of where they started changing things up a little bit, because ODST gave us that squad based play.
Yeah.
They gave us more, not necessarily squad based when you're thinking like Ghost Recon,
Yeah, no, you're right.
but it gave us that you see it from multiple people within your squad, and you could play it periodically as different people in that squad.
yeah, each mission
Yeah.
was actually as a different
person.
until you get to the end.
And then you had Firefight, which they introduced into Halo. That
Firefight
horde
was
mode.
good. It wasn't the first because Gears of War had Horde mode
Gears of
first,
War had horde mode, but that's when Bungie introduced Firefight
Right.
into their mix.
which was their. I want to say that was one of the first just like score attack Horde mode things. Because I know Horde mode was just survive the waves.
I think if it wasn't the first, it was the first one to do it well.
Yeah, it's the first one we can remember, so that should say something.
Yeah.
ODST Firefight was fun. My problem was I never could find anybody to play with.
Yeah.
I actually just had a thought. So Halo
God.
3 came out. That was my very first 360 game. Bought that. And then when ODST came out, that was my first midnight launch working at GameStop.
Was it really?
I went to that midnight because was running that midnight.
I was at the
You were
one
at the
by-
other store.
Yeah,
I
the one that
remember-
shut down.
I was always pissed off because I went to the midnight for that game, and I got my game, and I realized the next day that I didn't have the code to play as Sergeant Johnson. I went back, and they would not give it to me. They steadfastly refused to give me the code to play as Sergeant Johnson.
That was my first collector's edition. The ODST.
That was my. I got the controller.
The one with the
package
controller. That was my very first collector's edition.
I want to say Reach was the first collector's edition I ever got because it had the statue with all the.
thing. That was
guys.
the first like major like
I'm gonna throw
big
this out
thing
there.
that I got.
Halo Reach is the reason that my 2-year relationship ended.
Hold on. Before you go into details, Steve or Skyler, let's figure this one out.
Okay.
So, his 2-year relationship ended because of Halo Reach.
Okay.
So, was it because he played too much Halo Reach? Was it because they both played Halo Reach and fought each other over it? What do you think?
So, I'm sure that it's because he played too much. However, I want to believe that it's because he wasn't good enough to help her in the Reach challenge stuff and get the achievements.
See, I'm gonna place a bet that it was you both played Halo Reach, and I don't remember which girlfriend this was. Okay, so I know she at least played games.
Yes.
I think you both played, and you would get into fights over it because one of you wasn't good enough.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess you, just knowing you.
Okay. After seeing what I did at Destiny the last
Yeah.
night,
After seeing you play. So,
you're actually both wrong.
damn it.
The day Reach came out was the day after our anniversary. I had completely forgotten about our anniversary and spent $400 on the console, $150 on the collector's edition. 2 months later, we're broken up. And she says it's because you forgot about our 2-year anniversary for a stupid game.
You know what?
Wait. She called it stupid? And you didn't break up with her?
You know what? I can't. I'm trying to go through this in my head. So I know. Okay. I gotta be mad at her for calling it stupid, but I can't be mad at her for dumping you.
There were other aspects involved, don't get me wrong.
The 2-year anniversary. I mean,
but
missing
that was
out on
the
your
nail in the
anniversary.
coffin.
Did she play games?
That's pretty bad.
What you should have done is the way you should have done this is when Reach comes out without telling her, make her character, get her like really nice armor and all that, and then say, here, I did it for you for our anniversary to do together.
Oh, no. Here's the worst part. I had her come up and stand in line and come get my copy of the Legendary Edition.
Oh, you
That
are
is even better.
You are a bastard. You
That
are
is
an
even
asshole.
better.
And then I had her pay the last $200 on the console as an anniversary gift after she reminded me.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
That's horrible. Oh my god. That is terrible.
What the fuck is wrong with you? That's amazing, Steve. That's amazing.
But
Wow.
that's my love with Halo
Well,
and Bungie. But Halo Reach, that one actually, since we're on Halo Reach
Halo
now,
Reach was such a good game.
the fact that you can change your character, you can change how Noble Six looked, and he changed in the cinematics.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I like that.
I liked that. It was kind of another no-named hero like Master Chief. You just knew that he was a lieutenant.
Yeah, I
Spartan
mean,
3.
he really, it wasn't about Six. Noble Six is what, well, that was your character name, but it wasn't really about him. It was more about the other 5 members of the team.
Yeah, it was Noble Six was more of a way to put you into the story
Yeah.
of the Noble team and all the cool stuff going on.
I will say, what Reach did so well is, Reach was a game where anyone who'd played the other Halo games knew how it ended. Everyone dies. That's the beginning of Halo 1.
It was just watching how everybody died.
Well, they managed to make me forget that in that game. They did a great job of giving you those moments where you're like, oh, we're going to make it. People are making it.
Well, that was in the advertisements for it. I think is You know how it ends,
From
but
From the
here's-
beginning, you know the end.
That was the
Okay,
original
all right.
teaser trailer. No, it's
Yeah, you see the planet, and then you start to see it go red and glassy, and
Yeah.
then
Right.
big letters from the beginning. You know the end.
and then it just ends where it's all like the radio chatter of everyone screaming, and then just and then it just like cuts out really quiet, and all of a sudden this is UNSC. We have Spartans on the ground,
Yeah.
and that was it. It was such. They've always done just beautiful marketing.
Oh yeah, and that was a beautiful announcement, teaser
It was
trailer.
a huge teaser.
And the way they did that story. So I hate stories when I know the ending. That's the key part of a story is how it ends. So I thought going
not
into
about
it that
the-
it wouldn't be fun. That
Maybe, I
knowing
mean-
how it goes, it's like, oh, everything I'm doing is pointless because I know that everything's gonna go up to shit anyway. But throughout that, like you said, I forgot. Like I completely forgot about the
It all
ending and
looked
just
hopeful.
enjoyed so much of it.
Right. I mean,
And
spoiler
it wasn't hopeful. I mean, I guess it was hopeful in that first half, but then
for parts of it. It was.
there was that one mission where what
After
was it?
George
It's-
died or before him?
I was gonna say spoilers for a game that came out years ago, but the
well,
moment when
yeah.
George died, I literally that whole time just like, man, I guess Reach actually had some victories. I guess more people got away. And then as you're falling back, you see all the ships jumping in after you blew up the one, and I'm just like, oh right, no, this was a total shit fest.
Yeah, you were part of the biggest loss in the Halo history. If you're gonna hold the fucking thing, hold it.
I keep dropping.
You dropped your whoopee. No, take it away from him.
No, no.
You dropped your whoopee.
I'm keeping.
I can't get over that term.
There we go. I have it. It's safe.
It looks angry.
It is.
It's about to use sand attack.
So, yeah. So I love the story of Reach. I've played through it dozens of times. I've beaten it. I did the legendary solo challenge on it.
Didn't
Oh,
you do
yeah.
the
I
guide
did
for it as well?
I did a full guide for it, and I did it. I did about half of it for you, and then
We got bored.
yeah. Well, you stopped letting me play it for you. Like you wanted to play other games when I was trying to play it for you.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I'm trying to get the achievement for you, and you've been begging me to get the achievement, and I'm sitting there playing. Then you kick me off. I'm like, all right, fucker, I won't do it for you. We still haven't beaten that.
I loved Halo Reach. I was not so enthusiastic about its multiplayer.
Really?
Yeah.
Reach was my favorite multiplayer.
I hated the equipment. The fact that I'm shooting you. Oh shit, your jump pack. Oh, I'm dead.
Well, it started. This was the first instance where I thought Halo was starting to get too complicated of a shooter. Halo 3 wasn't so bad because yeah, you had the equipment, but they were pickup items. You'd find them in the world.
One-time use kind
you
of a
use it,
thing.
and that's done.
Well-
that's fine, but when you have an ability that is constantly available, that's a new mechanic that changes the balance of gunplay
Let me ask
and how
you a
things
question
work.
because this might change why we liked it. What did you play in Halo 3? What game mode for multiplayer was your favorite game mode?
My favorites?
Team Slayer, capture the flag.
Team Slayer, Capture the Flag.
That's it. That's all I ever
My
really played.
favorites. I can't even. I played a lot of Action Sack, and if I had to pick one, it would probably be
Griffball.
Team Slayer.
Team Slayer.
I played a lot
What
of
did y'all
Griffball.
play in Reach?
I played.
Team Slayer, capture the flag, Griffball.
Well, I played Team Slayer, Capture the Flag a lot, but I played
Zombies.
yeah, zombies. I like zombies, but there was
Big team
I
battle.
think
I'm just curious
I can't remember now. There was one game mode that I played a lot of, and I can't remember.
because I know for me, Halo 3, almost universally, if it wasn't Capture the Flag, it was Action Sack. I hated playing anything else. With Reach, all I did was play the the silly game mode ones. I forget what they called it in Reach. It wasn't Action Sack, but it was
Yeah,
basically
that's
the
what I'm trying to
equivalent.
think of. I can't.
It was that or Big Team Capture the Flag.
I did not like Big Team.
So I think for me, because there was so many more ways you could change the game modes in Reach, and there were so many more unique game modes in Reach, that's why I liked it more. Because I loved Reach Zombies. Reach Zombies is the
Reach
best
Zombies
they ever did.
was well, it was great on most of the maps. There were a couple maps where it was just
Okay, I'll give you
stupid.
that.
It was broken and
But I always thought that was kind of some of the funny little bits of it is where you'd get everyone's up on top of one rock trying to hold off the zombies.
or if you're in sword base, you go into the one vent and you wait until you're overwhelmed, jump into the air vent, and then you're home free. Like you can just escape the zombies at that point.
Yeah, for a time.
It was well, yeah, you can't ever last forever because it's just overwhelming odds, but
That is the one game where I've gotten a 51 kill streak. Is on sword base, but not like I actually was just in a corner, in where you exit that vent up at the top.
Yeah.
And I ran out of ammo for my shotgun, my pistol, and because they were coming in from both sides, they were killing each other as fast as they were hitting me. And I wound up to the point where I was just meleeing before I finally went down.
I did enjoy it. It just got too complicated. When you have too many mechanics, and this is an issue I'm having with Destiny right now, but when you have too many mechanics in a multiplayer, it becomes less about your individual skill and more about how can you game this system to make it work in your favor.
I didn't feel like that was there in Reach.
It wasn't as bad in Reach, but that was the turning point for me.
Okay.
Reach was where I stopped playing competitively online.
Oh, I
Yes.
never played competitively, so maybe that's also the difference.
Yeah, I was competitive for Halo 3. I was
God,
not
yes.
for Halo Reach.
I was on my way of getting lieutenant, and then they changed the rank up system, and it fucked me.
I had maxed out team doubles when they changed up the system.
Yeah,
I
'cause
maxed out team doubles.
I had my lieutenant. I was on my way to getting like high ranking officer and capture the flag, and then they changed it.
I liked how they changed it in 3.
After 3, and when they went to Reach with that equipment, I remember the first time somebody used a jump pack, sniped me while in the air, and then fell down. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm done. I'm just fuck it. That's not fair."
For me, it was the
If you're sniping me from the other side of the map, that's fine. You know what? That's what a sniper does. But if you're gonna float in the air and shoot me,
To be fair, it was hard to snipe while using a jetpack.
it doesn't matter.
yeah, with the jetpack. For me, the ability that bothered me was that ground slam thing.
Oh,
Or it's not a slam, it's
the armor lock?
The armor lock.
Armor
that was
lock,
it.
yes.
That's the one that got me because there was no way to tell who had what equipment. So you never knew if somebody had armor lock. So you could be chasing somebody down in a warthog. They pop that, you're dead. Suddenly you
You
killed
run into them, you're
and
dead.
Your teammates, whoever else was in the warthog. It's like that's not something I could have prepared for. That's not something I could have seen and known. Oh, my eagle eye noticed that he has this ability. I shouldn't try and run him over. That was just, oh, well, fucker had this. Nothing I could do about that.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Reach was the big turning point.
And especially, and I know they changed it throughout the lifespan of the multiplayer, but at the beginning anyway, when you would go into armor lock, you would come out of it with a couple seconds of invincibility, and you could actually pull off 2 shots.
Oh,
before
they changed the hell out of that. I remember that.
Yeah, but this is where I really got frustrated. You could pull off with a battle rifle. You could pull off 1 burst before you could take damage.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
That was just game for me. I couldn't do that.
Well, okay. I'll give y'all that. It did have one of the best asymmetrical game modes that a Halo game has ever had. Invasion, where one team is the Covenant and one team is the Spartans. That was
I could
so
never
much
get
fun.
into that.
I liked it, and I liked what little I played, but the servers were not stable enough.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I had constant lag issues with it, so it got frustrating after a while.
That got frustrating, but I always loved like that push.
It was a great idea.
And I really wanted Warzone to be like that in the newer Halos.
Right.
I'm really sad that it wasn't. I don't like Warzone, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
That's not even Bungie
Luckily, that's
anymore.
not Bungie. Damn it, you got me saying it.
Yes!
Because after Halo Reach was truly their last game.
Yeah, it went out as their swan song, they call it.
So
And it was
then
good.
343 took it over and
It was good.
killed it. Excuse me.
Reach, I'm glad that Bungie stopped at Reach. I think if they had gone any further, they would have tried to keep up with the pace of
Maybe.
modern multiplayer shooters, and I think that would have hurt them in the long run. So I think they ended it right as they were starting to turn a little weak.
But after Reach, they jumped over to
After Reach, they disappeared for a while
work on
to work on Destiny.
which is where we're gonna kind of jump into.
I will say, if there's one thing that Bungie has the story of, it's the story of maintaining hype.
Bungie.
Right, Bungie, that's what I said.
Bungie.
Right, that's what I said. So,
This asshole.
but I mean,
Why am I surrounded by assholes?
every single game that they've launched, as far as I can remember back to, has had just beautiful marketing and has maintained the hype all the way up to launch. I mean, they've never had where it just like disappears. It's always there and always growing. Which could have been Destiny's problem, is that it just didn't meet where the hype had raised to.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
I remember the original
absolutely.
Destiny launch. It had the hype.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Yeah.
Borderlands meets Halo. Yeah, we've got hype.
Yeah, but I mean,
And then
even back to
I remember the hype falling off
When
around
they,
each expansion. I remember it kind of dying, and then the
Well,
hype.
but at the same time,
super picked.
people would start to get back in at each expansion and then die off afterwards. The hype has always come back. I mean, even with
Taken King, I remember went through the roof.
yeah, and look at now
Rise of Iron.
Rise of Iron. How many people are stoked for Rise of Iron? Everyone's talking about Destiny again. After how much we complain that they've let us down, we're still saying, I can't wait for Rise of Iron. Saladin, we get to fight with him.
I'm seeing more and more people who jumped off the bandwagon after Taken King came out. So what? It came out last September.
Mm-hmm.
So most of those people quit playing after the first of the year. I'm starting to see a lot of those people come back and jump back into it now.
I mean, we were playing
Yeah.
just last night. We tried Trials of Osiris, got our ass kicked, and went and did Challenge of Elders.
Getting our asses kicked in Trials is a bit of an understatement.
Yeah. We're
You
not
rage
Trials
quit.
players.
I'm sorry.
You rage quit.
You
That was
did
the first thing I
full-blown rage
played
quit.
You
after
full-blown-
5 hours in a car. I didn't want to sit there and just get sniped.
You
Just get
full
sniped on
blown
spawn.
rage quit. That's
You did full blown rage quit,
You-
which was pretty funny.
you full blown.
Oh, that was
rage
pretty
quit.
funny.
I don't like Trials.
It was
okay.
up. You rage quitting was up there with like the 10-year-olds who play Call of Duty and you noob tube.
Oh
them.
fuck you.
That's exactly where you were.
no fuck you.
Fred, back me up
I'm
on this.
just-
Okay,
I'm gonna
it was like
slowly
1
sink
a.m. in
into
the
the
morning.
couch.
It was like 1 a.m.
Not
in the
here.
morning. I just gotten back from hours of driving, and I'm sitting here just like, Steve, I'm not having fun. Let's just do something else. This just isn't fun. Why are we doing this?
Except he was a lot more angry.
Yeah, there was a lot more yelling and "fuck that guy."
Hey, I never said fuck that
You
guy.
almost.
You said
sound
fuck that
no.
guy.
You sounded almost as bad as I do.
Hey, Fred, fuck that guy.
But with all of the downsides that Bungie has with Destiny,
Well, hold on. Let's kind of go in order with this. I feel like we just suddenly sprung into the middle
Destiny.
of it. So year one came out.
Yes, well, before year
September-
one came out.
It was September of 2000.
Yeah, September of 2010 or
Right.
10.
It was September 7th, wasn't it?
It was September 7th because my puppy was born on that day.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
so I always remember it. September 7th, 2014.
So one good thing did happen
Or September.
that day. No, I'm just
Fuck,
kidding.
now I'm an idiot.
Hang on, I'm looking
September
it up.
9th.
September 9th, 2014.
Oh, it was 9th. It wasn't the 7th.
So yes,
All right, so I'm a
September 9th,
horrible dog owner.
2014, Destiny launched.
Well, I mean, even before it launched, do you remember back when they did their first teaser and they showed off like the big ball, whatever it's called? I can't remember right now.
The Traveler?
The Traveler
Yeah, it
above
showed
Earth,
that.
and then everyone went back and found where that was in ODST, like
Well-
a very similar picture.
Oh, yeah. That
And it
was in
says your
the,
destiny awaits.
Which, they patched that in afterwards. There's no way it was
I don't
already.
know.
It wasn't there. Companies like to do that.
I don't remember having a patch for ODST, and I went and found it. I don't remember needing an update.
You know what? It was an update. I guarantee you that it was just patched in later. I can't say for sure. I didn't play ODST again until it came out on Xbox One, but I'm pretty sure it was a.
It was
But
probably.
I mean,
patched
even
in.
still, the hype for that game with how little we knew just was insane.
yeah.
Yeah, it was weird that they said Bungie, Activision, and everyone started cheering.
Yeah.
My first thought was, oh, fuck.
What could go wrong?
What could go right? Activision taking control. And sure enough, things went a little
It
sour.
had issues. But I mean, even when it launched, everyone had where the story with Destiny was, we hate this game that we can't stop playing every waking moment of our days.
That's basically the mindset behind a lot of Destiny right now. Even
Yeah.
still is.
That's-
I hate this game, but
It's
I can't
fun.
stop playing it. It's like it's like a soap opera or a train wreck. You
Yeah.
can't stop watching.
Well, at
even
this
still,
point,
it's fun to play. Like the base gameplay is fun. Everything else is not quite there, but it's still just so much fun, and that's what Bungie's good at.
well, the problem.
Dang it, I said it wrong.
Yes.
You did it correctly.
No, said
My
it wrong.
problem with year one, so I picked it up day one on year one because I thought, okay, this is going to be my new Bungie fix. In fact, me and that friend I talked about earlier also picked it up. We were going to play together because he picked it up on PS4. And no, we went through the main story together and we're like, okay, that was cool. The multiplayer wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah.
They didn't have that built up. So that wasn't very fun. They only had like
I remember
4 modes
I
at launch.
pulled an all-nighter when it first came out just to play through it because I was having so much fun. And about the time that I stopped, I had just gotten to Mars. And I was excited because I thought, oh man, when I come back, I'm going to complete Mars. And then I'm going to open up where you go back to all the planets. and then I finished Mars within a couple hours, and I remember being so sad that was it.
Yeah,
Because I kept waiting. I was like, I can't wait for it to start. And then I realized that it had ended before it began, and it was a really depressing moment.
Yeah, that's the thing is I went to Venus, and I was like, I'm starting to see a pattern here. And it's like, okay, so you do 4 or 5 missions on this planet, and then you do a mission that gets you to the next planet.
Right, I thought they
and
were
then you
unlocking
do
all
4
the
or 5
planets.
missions. At that point, I was starting to think, okay, this is not. There's, like you, I guess. I thought, okay, surely after I unlock all the planets, there's going to be some big overarching thing that I can then go do.
Right, that's what I thought.
And then it just.
And then it was patrols, which I did a lot of.
I didn't. I tried, and I was like,
you can't do the grind. That's
yeah, and that's
Destiny
what I
1
didn't
was a
like.
grind.
Yeah, year 1 was such a grind, and I didn't have anyone to grind with, so it's not like I could bullshit with somebody while I'm doing this boring stuff.
I remember
So I dropped it.
for Destiny 1, the big thing was when the raid came out, did you have a group? If you had a group to play with, most people stayed with Destiny for most of year 1. If you didn't have a group, people fell out.
false. Did you have a group, and did everybody have a Gallarhorn? If you didn't have Gallarhorn, you got kicked out of that group.
Well, I
that
had
was
the
a little-
Gallarhorn, so
little
I
late
was
on.
the root of that group. I actually was, it was funny, the night the raid came out for Destiny, the very first raid, I went on just to try and do it. I wasn't planning on like finding a big group or
It
anything.
came out that Friday after the game was released, didn't it?
No, it came
No, it
out-
was like a couple weeks after.
Yeah, it came
Was
out
it?
almost a month later.
But I remember
'Cause I
I
was-
found this random group and just joined in, and we got all the way to like the second to last part before you go up against Atheon, the final boss.
Yeah.
And none of us knew what the Yalahorn was at that point, but I had one. And we tried this thing where we tried to kill 2 things at about the same time. The other guy starts shooting at his. I fire 1 rocket. It took the thing out. And that was the moment where all of us learned how the Yalahorn worked, which was point, click, dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was a great moment. And that wound up being the group that I was with for almost 2, well, about a year.
and a
It
half.
kind of broke down. But
You
I
were-
wound up becoming the raid leader for that group, and that kept me in the game for months.
Yeah, so you were on Xbox. I was on PS4 at the time. If I had known you were playing Destiny like that,
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were doing
because
I
I
did
would have hopped
for-
over, but
52 weeks, a raid a week until Taken King came out.
Jesus. See, I would have done that because I would have, especially now I get to look back and think, oh man, I kind of wish I had done that. Forgetting that, of course, that was over the span of a year. And there was only a handful of things to do within that year. But I would have loved to have been back if I had had the group.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I heard. Is a lot of people, it's either you had a good group you played with or you just didn't play.
That's even still what a lot of it is. I mean, I've got a group with one of the guys that's one of the guys that he's one of my customers, and I kind of found the little group with all of them through all of that. But I've got you guys, and we've got all the connections through this and all of that kind of stuff.
Well,
so.
it's funny because like my group kind of dissolved, but we play with your group now, and it's as long as there's a group, we kind of keep coming back.
Yeah, that's why I take my breaks. I usually will play for a while. Like when the April update came out, I played for a good couple months and then stopped because there was nothing left to do. It was just the grind that was left. And
Yeah.
I'm not someone who likes to grind for levels, especially if it's the same thing that I'm not enjoying.
I really think the story of Destiny is going to be made or broken by Destiny 2. Because I've told y'all my theory about what Destiny has been, right?
Yeah, now that we've conquered the Vault of Glass, we're going
Well,
to
not
go
with
back in
that,
time and change the timeline.
Well, that's a fan theory that's out there, but my whole theory with Destiny 1 is when it was launched, Destiny 1 is not meant to be the game. It's a proof of concept. It's them saying this thing that no one's done before, that everyone says is impossible, we're doing.
I'm gonna
'Cause
tell
it
you why
has
that's
all the
wrong.
skeleton.
Let me tell you real quick why that's wrong.
Okay.
Because they had the story of Destiny planned out about a year prior to its launch.
Well,
it was when it was
so we've
supposed to
heard.
come out.
So we've heard.
So we've heard. I mean, fact is fact. It was fact. They had a whole story planned out. They even had the cutscenes that we could see in trailers leading up to launch, and then all of that got scrapped. Well, at least large chunks of that got scrapped.
Maybe, but
and
that's
now we were left with the backbones of what the story was supposed to be.
maybe. I mean,
Like
I
with
can
the
see like
Stranger.
the story is at bare minimum now, but I feel like the gameplay and the way that the system is set is it's the skeleton of a typical MMO. You have patrols are your typical repeatable quests. Your go here, do that. You have your story-based quests, which were the missions and all that. You had your character leveling. You had your gear acquisition. You had your various currencies. None of it though was in the game as it. None of it was mesh together as well or as flushed out as it is in other MMOs.
I wonder if that's where the issue came up. Like maybe
I think that's where a lot of it came from.
Maybe I think it was Joseph Stetton who did the original, right? Or was it Jason Jones?
I don't remember.
One of them, because one of them left. The person who did the original story write-up, maybe he was writing it like he would write Halo as this great cinematic experience you can go through. And then they're thinking, well, no, this is going to be more MMO-esque. We need to do it this way. Maybe that's where
I wonder. I mean,
that could be the issue.
We'll probably never truly know the answer.
Oh, no.
But my whole theory has been when Destiny 2 comes out, that's where we're going to see a lot more of that typical MMO-based stuff where you go out into the field and you find quests that you then complete and turn in. I feel like that's when you're going to see less of this where it's all in a menu where you just pick quest and then as soon as you finish it just auto-completes. I feel like that's when you're going to see more of the traditional like picking up story pieces out in the field.
I don't like that.
No, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong.
I like returning to the tower. It's annoying after every quest returning to the tower, but I like that.
Well, but I feel like that's when you're going to get where there's a person on the tower you go to as opposed to just you open up the map and pick pick just a list of things to do. Like how it is now with the Navigator. You open up the Navigator, you open up Earth, and it says, here's the 12 things you can do on Earth.
I feel like the mission's laid out.
Right, like I feel like Destiny 2 is where we're going to see you go to Earth, and then while you're on Earth, you pick what you want to do as opposed to just saying, okay, I want to do this version of Earth.
Gotcha. Instead of going into an instance from orbit.
Right, you go into an instance from...
You go into Earth and you say, okay, I walk in, I go to this marker and I can start up this instance.
Right, I feel like that's when we're going to see more of that traditional MMO type stuff. I could be completely wrong, but that's always been my theory since day one.
I don't like that, though. I like how funny enough, I do like how they do the navigation. Like Steve said, it's kind of annoying. There's some stupid things like having to constantly go to orbit to be able to go to anything else, even when jumping between the same thing. Like going from tower, joining friends who are already in the tower, you gotta go to orbit. But
going to orbit is like your waiting room.
Well, it actually it helps keep me more immersed because it's not like I'll be able to just... What are you pointing at? So, yeah, I like that.
The only game where it was more annoying was Mass Effect 3, where every time you went down to a planet and you came back up, you got that 5-minute briefing with one of the fucking officers back on Earth, and that was just annoying as hell.
I don't remember that in Mass Effect 3.
It was just annoying.
But I like in Destiny, it feels like, if I had just completed a mission for somebody, I'm not going to call them on the phone, call them up on space phone and say, hey, yeah, I just did the mission. Just trust me, I did it. Mail me the reward. No, you're going to go back to the person.
And go talk to them and figure out what you got to do next.
Yeah, and so it helps keep the lore going. It helps keep me immersed in the game.
I would like to see more areas in this next. I like what they did with Taken King, how they gave us a whole new area. They gave us the Dreadnought in Saturn. They opened up a lot more.
Yeah, it was a small area, but they did give us a new something.
But it gave us a new area to explore. They gave us a lot of things to do in that one area. We've got the raid takes place there. You've got
like the Court of Oryx.
Which it is a tire. It's base. It's a grind. Bottom line, that's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's a challenging grind.
Well, not anymore.
The three Antiquateds have the same raid boss-esque style. You have to figure out how to kill them.
Yeah, but now
to kill them.
You remember when we did the Antiquated Runes just recently, and we were knocking out the bosses in less than a minute. And it was you, me, and just one random person.
With as high light level as we are.
Yeah, he was because we're about 334, 335, and he was about that same range.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would take out the boss in under a minute. It's something that gives us 5 minutes to do.
Yeah, we were wiping them out pretty quick. So I like a lot of the base formula that Destiny has. Now, granted, are there things I wish they could change? Sure. There's always nitpick things that I wish they could change. But they're also doing the best they can, especially with their multiplayer PvP stuff. They're doing as much as they can.
I feel like Bungie might have bitten off more than they can chew, to use a tired phrase. They've got this really massive game that they're trying to keep working, and they're trying to do all these little updates along the way, fixing how weapons work, how different skills and stuff work together. But it's the problem that I started to have with Reach, is things were getting so complicated that it's difficult to fix one thing. Oops. Sorry, Mike.
Sure.
You can't just okay, say a shotgun is doing too much damage. You can't just say, all right, lower the damage on the shotgun, because lowering that damage may cause issues, especially with the number of perks you can have and the variety of perks you can have across weapons. It's just gotten so complicated, you can't make a simple fix to fix something. You've got to go through this whole big ordeal, and they've even made it more difficult for themselves by saying your one gun will act the same whether it's PvE or PvP. That's just made things worse. So they're trying to balance between the two, but the two are so vastly different that you can't balance that.
I've been talking with a lot of people, reading a lot of forums. Their most hated tweak that they did for guns across the board was Quillam's Terminus.
You're saying that because you have a personal stake.
I've got the personal
You've
stake.
got a personal
Don't get me
stake.
wrong. But on the forums,
that's confirmation bias, is what that's called.
But across the board on forums and things like that, even a handful of the Bungie employees say, yeah, that was bullshit. We shouldn't have nerfed it that much.
Well, to the same point, I've seen a lot of people complain about the nerf they gave to 1,000-yard stare, the reducing ammo there, because that's confirmation bias on me, because
they
that's what I'm
reduced ammo
looking
across
for.
the board, though, on all snipers. Even Black Spindle got an ammo reduce.
Well, I know they specifically mentioned 1,000-yard. They cut it in half. I think it was in half, or roughly in half.
I think I've been here the entire time. I never left.
You liar. Did you wash your hands?
Yes. I mean,
Did you
I
shit in the
didn't-
sink?
What?
No, is that not what you do here? So we got a little bit in the Crucible, talking about how they can't patch things properly.
My
because
only
of how
thing
they
with
do it.
Crucible is
They do the best they can, though. I mean, they're really, truly... Yeah, they're biting
Well-
off more than they can chew. But with trying to keep it in-house, they're doing the best that they can. It's not good
Yeah.
enough sometimes.
The problem is they're very strict on their rules. They say, well, everything's got to be the same between PvE, PvP. They
actually,
refuse to waver on that.
a lot of stuff has different values based on PvE or PvP.
No,
Like the
how
Super
do you mean?
abilities do.
damage drop-off, very specifically, that's one of the big ones where against players, the drop-off, I think, for shotguns is up to 2 times, where if you're at point blank, you do like 2 times damage with it. Up against like PvE stuff, you do up to 6 times damage with a shotgun. Like, it's very drastically different, the amount of damage tables. But mostly just because players have different health than regular enemies.
Yeah, but
Is
like
that true?
super abilities, Titan hammers, they do twice as much damage in PvE as they do in PvP.
That I don't know is true. Yeah, look
I
that
looked
one
at the
up.
patch notes last time.
But they do change stuff where things have different splash radii, stuff like that.
Radii. Yeah, that's right.
Can
I had to think about that word for a minute.
I do
It didn't
words
sound
good.
right. Oh, okay. So maybe they're a little.
But I
maybe
mean,
they are a little more willing to bend the rules than I give them credit
there's
for.
a little bit of difference. The thing they strive for is to make sure that they handle the same. I know. My biggest complaint is always, and this is just any game that has multiple gear you see this in, is the fact that there is a meta. As much as people say there's not, there is a meta of certain weapons and certain combinations that if you use, you're almost guaranteed to win unless you're going up against another meta tier combination. But because so much stuff in Destiny is random drops, not everyone can achieve that without just sitting there and waiting for it. For instance, like he said, did your raid group have a yellow horn? That's not PvP, but that used to be a random thing. And it made or broke raid groups.
Or braided. What's up?
Okay, so I'm looking at the most recent patch notes for the most recent one they did. Sunbreaker, hammer's travel speed increased by 1.3%. Hammer detonation radius increased by 10%. Hammer damage increased by 10% against AI combatants.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you do 10% more damage against...
Okay, so they did raise that up.
So they
and it looks like they did the same for Striker and, well, nothing for Defender, but...
They've tweaked... So yeah, they tweaked things here and there for all the classes.
Okay, so they are a little more willing to bend the rules than I give them credit.
Yeah,
On
and that
weapons, they're not going to. But as far as abilities, that's what it seems like. Is abilities they're willing to do. Golden Gun, base
No, they've done
damage
weapons
increased
before.
by 50% and an additional 30% against AI combatants.
Okay.
So They do a little bit more against AI.
Oh, they
versus-
upped the damage of Golden Gun?
Yes.
So now I can finally kill a Titan who's using his super?
You've always been able to do that.
No, you haven't.
You haven't.
I've been able to. The last time I was playing Golden Gun, a Titan would be going. I'd pop him once with the Golden Gun. And
Well,
he'd
it
die.
Dude, I've been
If a
playing.
Titan-
That's all I've been playing is my Golden Gun Hunter, and you
Yeah.
can't.
If a Titan is Titan smashing, depending on how their build is set up, there's, I think, 2 or 3 builds that will leave them where their armor is low enough you can. But for the most part, when a Titan is Titan smashing, their armor is high enough that you can hit them with a Golden Gun and they'll survive.
There's a perk for strikers on the very far right, actually in that first row on the very far right, that gives you increased armor when you're striking.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the most part,
'Cause
that's why people say that Titan is the most powerful in PvP in general.
It
I
can
know
take
a
the
lot of
most
people
damage,
use
yeah.
Hunters because Hunters, if you have the right skill, you can do the most with them. But in general, Titans are the easiest and the most powerful.
They can take the most damage for sure. As a regular Titan, I can say yes.
they're a tank, so if you want, they're there to fill that role.
But to stop bitching about them, I feel like we need to get off about bitching about Bungie.
No, I mean,
I wanted
will
to
say
air
this.
my grievances, all right? I had plenty.
You can't talk about Destiny without talking about the things it does wrong, but there is a lot it does right that it doesn't get credit for. I will say, Bungie has been aggressively patching and updating that game since day one. That is not the game I bought that I play today.
Yeah, it is a very different game. Well, granted, I picked it up again year 2. Taken King came out, and I know Steve and I picked it up.
We picked it up and ran it together.
Yeah, that's where we started.
relentlessly, and then we got about as far as we could without jumping into another group, and that's when we joined up with Skyler. And
And that's when we were getting ready to do raids and stuff like that for the first time.
Right, and I will say
That was kind of a magical experience doing the raid for the first time.
oh my god, that was
Destiny
so fantastic.
That was
raids.
fun.
I mean, Dark Below was broken and shitty, but Destiny raids are by far some of the best big group activity stuff I've seen in games. I mean, it's hard to come close to how fun their raids are.
If you get with a patient enough group, they're fantastic.
Yeah, if you have a group that is not fun, I mean, that kills anything, but
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not a very grindy person. I hate doing the same thing again and again and again. I have no problem running the Oryx raid on normal, at least, over and over and over, because it's a
well,
fun
that's just
raid.
because
It's
hard mode would be more fun if the rewards for it were on level with the difficulty.
I actually
My
don't-
problem is it bugs out too many times in a row.
I don't think hard mode is very fun. I don't mind challenge in a game, but
Hard
hard
mo-
mode, and it's really not the challenge. Yeah, it's more the bugs, and it's more getting teammates who can work well together.
Yeah.
Remember, we ran it one time with some of your friends, and I think Jack was actually in it.
Yeah,
where
that was a funny
We
one.
knocked out the hard mode raid in less than an hour. We
Yeah.
had maybe 2 or 3 wipes the whole time. Like,
No, it was the three of us with
it was some
It
of
was-
his friends, because I remember Giraffe, at least Giraffe.
yeah, it was a
and-
few of the
Giraffe,
guys.
Someone
Sword,
else.
and
I
Foss
don't
got
think-
as far up to
Foss,
as
I think, got to the end. And
he
then
got
quit.
to the Oryx and said, "Fuck this, I quit." And then Jack jumped in at
And
the
then
very
Jack jumped in.
end.
That's
Right. But I mean, those are the guys that I've been running with since year one. And you see, I mean, that's with any raid. Communication outdoes everything else. If you can work together, then it'll overcome everything else.
So
Yeah, that was fun, but it's so hard to get a group that works that well together.
Yeah.
That hard mode's not fun. Normal is fun because it's still challenging. It's still easy to wipe.
It's
but
good for groups that are
it's-
still getting that mesh.
And it's more enjoyable. You're not banging your head against something for 10 minutes or for an hour. You get to the boss. You struggle a little bit. Maybe you wipe once or twice, but then you knock it out and you move on. It's like,
Well,
okay,
and it's
I'm
that
good.
that moment of triumph because everyone has different roles. Like that's one thing I like is we're all, for the most part, yes, there's 3 separate classes, but we're all for the most part the same thing. We have guns, we shoot them, and we kill the enemies. We all do about the same amount of damage. But how everyone picks their roles based on what they can do best.
Right.
That's what's always made it the most fun to me because I used to play World of Warcraft, and you were, from the moment you made your character, with the exception of maybe like druids, your role was dead set. You're a hunter, you're a DPS. You're going to sit in this corner and you're going to do this for the rest of your life. I like with Destiny, you can kind of learn different stuff.
Yeah.
You still get those like niche roles, but you get to fill in more of them.
Yeah, like I'm a Titan who's typically the team sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
an
the
odd
hunter who's
combination.
almost always the guy taking the brunt of stuff who I do it just by dodging.
Yeah,
But-
you're the one who goes out and distracts for us. I mean, I do like that. What's up, Steve?
ad control.
Yeah, Steve gets ad control.
Ad control. And I mean, there's also, remember that one time we ran the King's Fall raid, and it was me and one of the other warlocks. We popped Sunsinger right at the end of Sisters.
Oh my
I've
god,
got-
that
saved
was
us.
amazing.
I've actually got that video saved.
Oh man, I love that. That's the one thing is the thing Destiny has done right is groups. That game is made by the fun stuff you do with friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget. That was amazing where the entire team wipes and then you two just like, no, not today. Re-res and went on and won it for us.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was just that. But with Bungie Day right around the corner, do you think we'll see anything in Destiny that they're going to do?
They usually do something special. I know
probably do
I remember in
something
Halo
special.
3 they released a map pack on Bungie Day, and then there were specific achievements tied to the 7th of each month.
Yeah, they'll probably give us like a little thing in game. I wouldn't be surprised if they showed off more of Rise of Iron, because that's going to be coming out here soon.
What we're
Yeah.
thinking is that the big stipulation is we're going to have Bungie Day. They're going to announce, because Bungie Day is what? Thursday? Thursday's when they normally do
It'll be the
This
day
Week at
after this
Bungie.
podcast comes out.
Yeah, but they usually do their This Week at Bungie on Thursdays. So that's what we're thinking is they're going to make the announcement of when their next reveal stream is going to be.
Yeah, I could see them doing some kind of little celebratory thing in game as well. They usually do it.
Yeah,
at least what I remember with Halo.
I want to say in year 1 they gave away just like a random legendary for it. They might give away like a Sterling Treasure Box, which is their new
9/18.
Their new
freebie.
gift.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
new freebies.
It'd be cool to have like an emblem or something to signify, hey, yeah, I was on Bungie Day.
Yeah,
Something a little goofy, nothing important kind of thing. A shader would be nice if they can make a decent looking shader.
I mean, well, whatever they give us, we're all going to be there because we're all suckers who can't stop playing the game no matter how much we complain about it.
Hey, you know what? There's a lot to complain about. I'm not a huge fan of the Crucible. But yeah, like you said before, the mechanics are there. It's a fun game. Bungie, throughout their history, that's what they've nailed is the mechanics. And they've always had a stable game. Just some of the detailed things haven't always worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the stories. They always are the ones who try the new innovative thing, and whether it hits or misses.
They've been trailblazers.
Yeah.
More than I even expected. I didn't know half of what I learned just in researching.
Curious
Happy
to s-
Bungie Day, everybody.
Happy Bungie Day.
Happy
Curious to see
Bungie
what
Day.
more we're going to get. Bungie.
Right, that's what I said.
Whoa, things are flying.
Bungie.
Geek, got it.
I guess we're wrapping up. Happy Bungie Day, everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Hey.
God damn it, Skyler.
What?